Cincinnati. Our Queen City has always been a great place to turn dreams into breakthroughs, where the alliance of a soap maker and candle maker grew into a global consumer products company, where a dairy farmer became a billionaire, where the visionary owner of a dry goods store developed the modern grocery. We're the home of presidents, America's first professional baseball team, the first professional fire department, and for many, the first glimpse of freedom in a long journey to escape oppression. We are a town where neighbors still look out for neighbors. Easter Seals has been part of that great Cincinnati tradition for decades, building brighter futures through employment and opportunity. Every year, about 7,000 of your neighbors turn to Easter Seals to find their breakthrough moment on the journey to employment and self-sufficiency. In the next half hour, we will honor your neighbors who found their breakthrough moments at Easter Seals in our Brighter Futures celebration. The Easter Seals Brighter Futures celebration is made possible by Kroger, Cincinnati Children's Hospital, Cincinnati Bell, PLK Communities, Messer Construction, and by viewers like you.
I'm Clyde Gray. Easter Seals knows that everyone has something unique to bring to the workforce, and that a job is so much more than a paycheck. Employment provides the joy of connecting with others, the security of providing for your family, and the freedom to dream bigger. About 85% of the people served by Easter Seals live below the poverty line, not by choice, but because something is keeping them from reaching their full potential on their own. That's why Easter Seals takes a holistic approach to workforce development programs that offer the skills and support that create the breakthrough moments in the journey to employment. And it's only possible because of the incredible generosity of people like you who support their mission. Here in Greater Cincinnati, the poverty rate among adults who didn't complete high school is double that for adults with their high school diploma. There are many reasons why a teenager might drop out of school, often having nothing to do with school itself. That was the case for Brooklyn. When she was ready to take back control of her life, Easter Seals was there to support her in both completing high school and finding a job. But she wasn't just building a brighter future for herself, she had a special inspiration for making big changes in her life.
I can't say like every little thing about addiction's horrible, because in that time you are very relaxed, you are very happy. That's why people get addicted to it, because they don't have a care in the world. You don't care to live. You really don't. In my town, it's like if you're addicted to, like heroin is very popular, meth. I was a user of meth. You're pretty much written off. So you're very, very alone. For me, it was numbing pain. I couldn't cope with certain things that happened to me. Whenever I was using, I didn't care. I didn't care about how I felt. I didn't care about even waking up. You have no push. That's why you still see people in active addiction, because they haven't found that purpose to get out of that lifestyle. I was 18. And I found out I was pregnant with Jolynn. I cried. I was so scared. That day that I found out, I quit everything. So I was sick with being pregnant, but I was also sick from not having drugs that I've had for years. So like the first 3 months of my pregnancy with her, I just laid in bed. I couldn't move. I couldn't barely walk. It was horrible. Once I found out I was pregnant with her, I was like, okay, of course, first step is diploma. We have got to get this, because she's not going to tell me she's not going to go to school. And then Easter Seals came in with programs like CNA. And I was like, okay, perfect. Like more stuff to keep me busy, you know? So that's whenever I got introduced to Trisha.
I knew she wanted to complete high school. I knew that she had a daughter. I was beyond ecstatic when I found out that she had met all of her credits to graduate high school. Then when she did graduate, she had contacted me and told me she was hired as the supervisor. And so just the fact that she had that diploma in her hand and she was able to get a promotion at work was such a big deal.
Oh my goodness. I was so happy that day. I was ecstatic. The first thing that I had accomplished, and I don't know, probably my whole life, was getting that diploma. I was on cloud nine. I was way up there.
I'm really proud of her. I'm really proud of where Brooklyn has come and everything she's had to overcome. And I love that she is open to telling her story to other people. If Brooklyn is willing to tell her story, you know, maybe they will reach out for help.
I would say that would be the number one thing, was my support system, whether it be from my mom or Marshall or Eastern Seals. Those people helped me strive to do better things. They gave me the tools to do better things. So, and then I would say finding your purpose, that's going to take however long it takes. It might just show up one day. I take pride in going to bed early and waking up to see her in the morning, and it gives me a happy feeling knowing that I have a legacy I'm leaving behind. Those are the things that I find happiness in seeing her want me to turn on tunes and her calling me mommy.
It means a lot to be able to connect with somebody who's been through that and kind of seen them overcome it. I'm beyond grateful to where she's come versus where she was.
You just need to hold on to that. You need to hold on to anything that's positive whenever you're going through an addiction, and just keep fighting for that and hoping for better days.
There are so many people like Brooklyn throughout the tri-state who want to work, but need that network of support provided by Easter Seals to achieve their goals. You can be part of that network by supporting Easter Seals programs that are building more inclusive workforces right here in Greater Cincinnati. If you have your cell phone nearby, all you have to do is text BRIGHTER to 243-725, and we'll send you a link to make a gift right on your smartphone. If you'd prefer to give online, simply visit eastersealsgc.org. We'll share that information again with you a little later in this broadcast. A new frontier in inclusive employment is neural diversity. Now, that's the concept that people with neurological differences such as autism spectrum disorder and dyslexia process information in ways that bring untapped strengths and talents to the workforce. When P&G designed new management positions specifically for candidates on the autism spectrum, it included Easter Seals for its expertise in preparing intellectually and developmentally diverse workers for new roles and greater independence. For Danny Lakes, it became what he calls the opportunity of a lifetime.
Ever since I was young, I sort of have always noticed I was different to others, and that actually led to some bullying problems in middle school, to the point that I actually had to be removed from the public education system because my grades started slipping. It wasn't until my senior year of high school where I realized I'm gonna need to go to college. So we found a counselor, and within the first few sessions, she diagnosed me with Asperger's syndrome, now known as autism spectrum disorder. I asked, what does that mean? She started listing out all kinds of symptoms, and all of these symptoms matched me to a T, and just suddenly everything made sense. Most people have to study mathematics and stuff like that, but they just sort of understand socializing. For me, it was the opposite. I just sort of understood math and logic and things like that, but socializing is the thing that I actually had to open up textbooks and study it. The only way I really seem to get the employment is going through contracting firms or doing work that it's almost impossible to fail the interview. Well, I want to go for a supervisor position. You know, I started learning how to read between the lines. It was really, you don't have the social skills to be a supervisor.
You know, this is a brilliant source of talent. These individuals think so uniquely. They bring so much creativity, focus. Easter Seals in Cincinnati and a similar agency in Costa Rica have been important to the success of the programs.
Within the first month of me being hired, it was just very obvious that P&G was so dedicated to building up this environment of inclusiveness for people on the spectrum. And I remember one day I came home, sort of just broke down crying tears of joy, because it was just the first time in my life I felt like any sort of employer actually listened to me and actually took an interest in who I was rather than just what I could do. I'm able to actually push myself and apply myself and be able to grow as the person that I really knew I could. I just needed to be given the opportunity. I met David, and he helped me develop better time management skills, better people skills, just work personal life balance stuff. That's really where he helped me out a lot.
It was the 5-week program initially for the assessment, so they split into 2 groups of 5. And of course, when you do that, the first thing you're going to need to do is pick a group leader. And all 4 of his peers just pointed to Danny and said, "We want Danny." I mean, his peers recognized that in him. He had that extra social quality of a leader.
It was important to us to get involved in this space. It is an incredible untapped talent source, and it's also a way to drive a win-win for the individual, the company, and just the diversity and inclusion efforts.
Easter Seals and organizations like them, I feel like they're invaluable, like they're really needed right now. Not only do the employers gain a better understanding of how to interact with people that are neurodiverse, but the people who are neurodiverse can gain more insight on how to interact with people that are neurotypical. Organizations that, like Easter Seals, that help facilitate that conversation are really, really important.
I have a son with autism. One of my motivations has been that the more individuals I get out there, they're kind of opening the door for him when he gets to that point where he's looking for employment.
The impact they've had on every site where we've hired them has just been tremendous pride in the broad employee population.
Once people are sort of educated on what it actually means to be autistic, what autism means to someone, how that changes how they interact with others, they start becoming a lot more understanding and a lot more compassionate.
Do you remember your very first job? For a lot of folks in the tri-state, their first job was at their neighborhood Kroger store. Kroger has been a leader in building a diverse and inclusive workforce at all levels of the company. Here's Kroger Health President Colleen Lindholtz and Senior Vice President and Chief People Officer Tim Massa with more.
Thanks, Clyde. When I started my career in pharmacy 25 years ago, I took an oath to devote my professional life to the service of all humankind. I'm so proud to carry out that promise, both at Kroger and as a member of the Easter Seals Board of Directors. Inclusion lies deep within the framework at Kroger. It's part of our values and our purpose, which is to feed the human spirit. In the last year, we are proud to say that Kroger has employed more than 60 people served by Easter Seals, including people living with disabilities, veterans, and people who have faced economic disadvantages in their lives.
Yeah, these men and women are part of an incredible team of Kroger associates, working in essential jobs to keep Kroger stores open and clean for your family. You know, that commitment to serving our community is also reflected in Kroger's Zero Hunger, Zero Waste initiative. No one should go to work or school on an empty stomach. You know, right now, soberingly, 40% of the food produced in our country is thrown away. You know, Kroger is committed to supporting ways to get nutritious food to everyone who needs it, so they can reach their full potential. Our team of Kroger associates is also incredibly generous outside of work, volunteering their time with great organizations such as Easter Seals, and raising money for Easter Seals military and veteran services at the annual Kroger Honoring Our Heroes 5K.
Kroger is honored to serve as the presenting sponsor for this Easter Seals Brighter Future celebration. We know that this has been a rough year for so many people, but if you have the means to give, we hope that you can join Kroger in supporting the incredible work Easter Seals is doing, giving a hand up to people here in our own hometown who want to work but need a little extra support on their journey to a brighter future. All you have to do is text BRIGHTER to 243-725 or go to eastersealsgc.org and click the donate button. Clyde, back to you.
Still ahead on the Easter Seals Brighter Futures celebration. A tractor-trailer crash leads a local Marine to an addiction to painkillers and a mistake that cost him everything. How Easter Seals is helping him rebuild a career and reconnect with his family.
1 in 9 Americans struggle with hunger, yet 40% of the food in America is wasted. The Zero Hunger, Zero Waste Foundation is partnering with Kroger to feed everyone in need and eliminate waste across the company by 2025. Together, we can help end hunger. Learn more at zerohungerzerowastefoundation.org.
Home is where the heart is, the heart of connections. So however you stay connected there, make sure you do it at the speed of fiber. Cincinnati's fastest and only fiber network gives you exhilarating speeds, all the bandwidth you'll ever need, and whole home Wi-Fi with Premier to keep your whole home connected. Cincinnati Bell, powered by fiber to power your connected life.
The men and women of the U.S. Armed Services defend our country with pride and honor. But service can come with a price, leaving our nation's veterans with injuries both seen and unseen. Marine veteran Mickey Harlow never thought he would be someone needing help from Easter SEALs. But a devastating tractor-trailer crash left him addicted to painkillers, leading to a night that cost him his job, his home, and his family in the blink of an eye.
I was out for about 26 minutes. They had Narcan me 11 times. They were about to call time of death on me. I knew after that this was it. This was the last chance. It was either get clean or die. Got in the military, got hurt in a training accident, ended up getting a medical discharge. I went through a divorce and decided, get my CDLs and go on the road, be a truck driver. I got hit by a rock slide. It rolled onto my driver's side and the driver's side window broke, and I just remember my hand scraping the concrete as I was sliding down the road. They estimated me over 30 breaks. That's what got me addicted to opiates. I got to the point where I was relying on them, and then it just got to the point where I couldn't live without them. It was about day 2 or 3, and I woke up in horrible pain. I mean, you could feel like every hair on your body hurt. I called my doctor that morning. I was like, I feel like I'm dying. I said, what's going on? And he pretty much laughed at me, and he said, you're gonna withdraw a little bit. And he said, it'll go away eventually, and that wasn't the case. You don't feel like you can function. I mean, the littlest tasks feel impossible to do. And you get to a point where, you don't even take them to get high or to get a buzz. You take them just to feel normal. It's indescribable pain unless you've been through it. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. When it snowballed out of control, I mean, I lost everything in a day. I lost my semi, I lost my license, lost my job. It got worse and worse, and then in 2019, I overdosed bad, and I should have died. My kids were pretty mad at me. I'd done a lot of damage.
You want to hope, but at the same time, you don't want to hope because you've been disappointed before.
My kids have been my biggest motivation. It was rough being away from them. I wanted it back, so I was willing to do anything it took to get it.
I remember meeting Mickey the week before Brighter Futures last year, trying to restore hope and talking to him about all the changes he could make and how he could be successful in spite of his past circumstances. Everything else was doom and gloom until it came to his kids. The main motivating factor and the thing I used against him the whole journey is, you remember your kids, Mickey? We got to do this for the kids, Mickey. He's tickled to death that he's 2 miles from work, 2 blocks from his kids. Next step is to get a house so everybody can be up under the same roof.
I don't think I'd have made it through this process without Chris or Easter SEALs. I'm back with my kids, hanging out with them every day now. The name of the game is sticking to it and, being in their lives and moving forward.
We had a vision, we had a plan, he worked the plan, so I'm not surprised that he's here. I think Mickey's more surprised that he's here with all the obstacles he had to overcome and the barriers. For most veterans, all we need is a second chance and for people to listen.
You make your own support system. You get in these programs, you'll find people in the same boat that you are, and you lean on each other and you'll get through it. You gotta want it, you gotta stay committed. Just whatever you do, don't give up hope.
Easter SEALs can serve all veterans regardless of their discharge status because it is primarily funded by gifts from people like you in the community. You can support veterans like Mickey right now by texting BRIGHTER to 243-725 or by going to eastersealsgc.org and clicking the Donate button. It's one of the most in-demand careers in all of Ohio. How Messer Construction and Easter Seals are building greater economic inclusion into a major Cincinnati hospital expansion when the Brighter Futures celebration continues.
In 2017, Messer rolled out the Uptown Workforce Development Initiative, an innovative partnership with Easter Seals, Building Value, and Cincinnati Children's. Through this initiative, Messer aims to bring a strong, more diverse workforce to the construction industry and provide full-time, sustainable careers, especially for individuals who live in economically distressed neighborhoods.
People see me in the neighborhood now, they see me with the Messer out uniform on, they say, he did it.
And I molded myself to be a better person, not only for me, but for my kids, you know what I mean? I want them to, as they get older, I want them to see, oh, my daddy did it, I can do it one day.
As of August 2020, 32 candidates have been hired as full-time employees. Learn more about the initiative at messer.com/UWDI.
Construction is one of the most in-demand careers in Ohio. Easter Seals has provided construction training as a pathway to economic inclusion for nearly 2 decades, connecting hundreds of graduates to careers with better pay, benefits, and growth potential. And Messer Construction has been an outstanding partner to Easter Seals every step of the way. One of Messer's largest projects at Cincinnati Children's Hospital is serving as a real-world learning lab for graduates of the Building Value program, creating incredible career opportunities, especially for people living in Cincinnati's uptown neighborhoods.
The result of 2008's downturn in the construction industry was really an exodus of a lot of qualified craftsmen and women who never came back when the economy recovered.
We were certainly interested in other paths to find new employees and to diversify our workforce. So that was the interest on Messer's side and the interest on Easter Seals' side.
It's a partnership with Easter Seals that started many years ago, looking at how we could actually integrate local folks from the uptown area into the construction of this project.
I mean, you face different challenges growing up. Growing into adulthood, you're gonna have a lot of disappointments, a lot of things that goes on in your life.
It was kind of rough growing up, trying to find myself, trying to find who I am, not really having a father figure around, trying to be the best man that I can be. I just never really had a career. I want a career so I can progress my life, you know what I mean? I always wanted to do construction, never knew how to get into it until I bumped into Easter Seals, Building Value.
Going through Building Value, I was kind of an angry kid, you would say. You know what I mean? I always had an attitude. I'll admit I was kind of lazy. You know what I mean? Like just that young kid that really didn't care.
I wasn't going to continue working as far as I am now. I was just doing it to motivate myself to get out the house. Building Value, they just kept insisting that Messer is a good place for me to go next.
What a lot of folks don't understand is that people need more than opportunity. A lot of the folks that we serve have some educational gaps. They have experience gaps. They maybe haven't been in an environment where they've seen a lot of people succeed in the workplace.
And being able to problem solve. A lot of these young men and women, most importantly, in my opinion, don't have guidance. And they don't have somebody they could go to and get professional advice.
One of our staff said, we don't work with folks to come up with plan B. We work with our folks to come up with plan B, C, and D, because there's so many challenges in the lives of the folks that we serve.
We're very good at training. We know how to train. What we don't know how is how to help somebody find transportation. They have other issues, babysitting, other issues that I need the help of an Easter Seals, Building Value, and a Stanley Warren Huffman to help these candidates through these issues.
It's a very important collaboration because putting the two together makes the success that it is.
One of the things that we do in the time that people are with us is to help them see how much more is out there, that where they've been doesn't have to determine where they're going to go, to give them that vision that instills in them a desire for success, and then from there they get to create their future.
my way of thinking is bigger and brighter. Like, I'm doing things I never thought I would be able to do. I couldn't see that far.
In my mind, their future has no ceiling. It's limitless.
Eventually, I want to get in an apprenticeship for carpentry. I kind of want me an apartment building. You know, I won't have to pay nobody to fix nothing, fix it myself.
I know that with what they've accomplished now, they understand that anything they put their mind to, they can do it.
I appreciate Messer to the fullest. They gave me the best opportunity that I've had so far.
And getting up and actually going to work, it actually gives you meaning to your life. Like, well, I do have a purpose.
On an everyday basis, I'm always trying to recruit people to getting a job, getting off the streets. If I have a bad day, I can call someone at Building Value. They will help me out and keep me pushing.
This is my home here.
Easter Seals has trained more than 700 people for competitive employment in construction. Joining me now with some closing thoughts is the president and CEO of Easter Seals serving Greater Cincinnati, Pam Green. Pam?
Thanks, Clyde. The coronavirus has caused a lot of uncertainty this year and changed so much of our daily lives. This pandemic has had a disproportionate impact on people living with disabilities, people of color, and those who were already struggling financially. That's why through it all, Easter Seals has stayed open, delivering essential services that our community relies on. Many of the people who turned to Easter Seals for support in finding employment are now giving back in the fight against COVID-19 in ways you might not imagine. They've been keeping grocery stores stocked and making products that keep schools and businesses clean. They've been building medical testing kits for coronavirus vaccine research and assembling face shields for healthcare workers on the front lines. They're in hospitals and doctors' offices providing direct patient care and building the healthcare infrastructure of tomorrow. At Easter Seals, we like to say that we create breakthrough moments for the people we serve. Right now, they're creating breakthrough moments for all of us. Investing in Easter Seals doesn't just get people to work, it makes our community work better. To everyone who supports Easter Seals and believes in our work, I want to say thank you. Even the smallest gift right now can contribute to a life-changing impact. You can support our mission by texting BRIGHTER to 243-725 or by visiting eastersealsgc.org and clicking donate. There is a brighter future ahead for all of us in Greater Cincinnati, and we can build it together.
The work Easter Seals does would not be possible without the support of the business community and people like you at home. Before we leave, we'd like to say one more thank you to the amazing sponsors of the Brighter Futures celebration.
Kroger, Cincinnati Children's Hospital, Cincinnati Bell, PLK Communities, and by Messer Construction.
On behalf of everyone at Easter Seals serving Greater Cincinnati, I'm Clyde Gray. Thank you for joining us.